The answer to this question will dramatically alter how Tears of the Kingdom is received. So, how hard should Tears of the Kingdom be? Breath of the Wild wasn't exactly known for its difficulty, but it's actually even easier than you might realize. Just for a quick reminder, we know that you can pause and heal whenever you want, and there's no limit to healing, making it effectively impossible to die unless you lose all of your health in one hit. However, there is a small problem with that. See, while there are some enemies that can one-shot you, most of the time when you get hit by something that should deal all of your health, you're left with a quarter of a heart if you were already full. This means that so long as I have the will to keep going, this enemy poses no actual threat to me. Anytime I get hit, I'll just pause the game, fully restore my health, unpause, and continue fighting. And that's all just speaking defensively. Offensively, things can get pretty crazy too. And just a quick disclaimer, I'm aware that some people can do stuff like this, but most of us can't do that. And even so, I'm not totally convinced they aren't androids yet. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just not gonna go over that stuff here. Now, for us normal people, the combat is still pretty one-sided, but I think that's part of what makes it so much fun. It's fluid, creative, and exciting, but it's also pretty easy. Part of this comes from the fact that just about everything works. You can take an enemy's weapon away by shocking them, rain explosives on their camp, and flurry rush every attack that they try to throw out. That's not even mentioning the fact that time slows down when you fire a bow in the air, which means missing is now a choice. There are plenty of other things I could go on about, but the game's been out for 6 years, so I don't really think it's necessary. The point is that Breath of the Wild has safety nets defensively to ensure the player never falls, and overwhelming artillery offensively to ensure that the enemy never gets up. But is that a bad thing? Should the sequel be more difficult? Well, here's my idea. So the first half of my solution not only adds to the combat, but also solves one of the most infamous features of Breath of the Wild, weapon durability. So check this out. Parries are great. They're one of my favorite mechanics in video games, and I was super happy to see them return in Breath of the Wild. They can even be used to disarm enemies if the shield's value is greater than the weapons. There's a full video on this that you should really check out. The link is in the description right below the subscribe button. But what if we gave parrying a second ability? See, when you headshot a Lynel or parry their charge, you can actually jump on their back and deal some damage. What makes this attack so special is the fact that it doesn't deplete your weapon's durability. You can probably already see where I'm going with this. What if when you parry an enemy, you get a special attack like the Helm Splitter from Twilight Princess and Wind Waker that deals a ton of damage and doesn't take away from your weapon's durability? But you could take this idea even further than just one special attack. What if enemies had some kind of guard up at all times? You can attack this guard and you'll deal the same amount of damage as you would have in Breath of the Wild. Equally, your swing will follow through and you won't be staggered or anything. Something like this. All of these blocked hits will cause your weapon to lose durability, but if you make an opening through maybe throwing a box at them, shocking their metal shield, or of course through parrying, you can get some hits in without losing durability. However, we need to address the flurry rush. The most obvious thing to do would just be to lower the window of activation, but that's kinda boring, so what if instead we do nothing? I know, it sounds weird, right? But think about it. If weapon durability stays and we have methods of avoiding breaking our weapons, maybe the big downside of flurry rush is the fact that it runs through your durability so quickly. In fact, what if we made flurry rush damage your weapon twice as much as normal attacks? This way, just spamming it in every single fight may not be the best solution anymore. But of course, we need to address the defensive side of combat as well. Healing is a super simple fix. We can borrow a page from Witcher 3. In that game, potions are slightly poisonous, so you can't drink too many of them at once. We could adopt a similar system in Tears of the Kingdom. You can still pause the game to heal, but now healing is limited to only prepared items like cooked food and elixirs, and you can only use a few of them at a time. It's small changes like these that would go a long way in not just making the game a bit more challenging, but a bit more engaging as well. But I'm not going to pretend this is the best solution for everyone, so how about we split it into two modes, normal mode and master mode. This wouldn't be anything new for the Zelda series, but this time, instead of having to beat the game to unlock Master Mode, it's just there from the start. You could even go a step further and introduce customizable difficulty like we see in a lot of other games. This way you could play a mixture like the offensive changes to parrying from Master Mode with the healing from normal mode. But what do you think? Should the game be more difficult than Breath of the Wild? And perhaps more importantly, here's a video on whether or not the game will be better than Breath of the Wild.